Hello, friends. Today's episode is brought to you by From Within Records. One Scene Unity Volume 4 is out now. So awesome to say that. If you have not heard, please hit pause, go boot up Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Bandcamp, whatever, and please go listen to One Scene Unity Volume 4. It's awesome. So many amazing tracks. Shout out to Firestarter, Los Angeles Straight Edge. I'm so happy to see them being featured on an amazing compilation like this. I'm so proud of Firestarter, and I cannot wait to see them continue to rise. I'm such a huge fan of that band. But if I'm being honest, my favorite track on the whole comp has to be A Fool's Shame by Sudden Demise. This band just continues to just grab my attention. So I'm a huge fan of Sudden Demise, and I'm very happy to hear new music from them. Hopefully we can get more very soon. And if you have not had a chance to grab yourself a copy of the vinyl, unfortunately, Cyan sold out. So all that's left is black. So please grab one before it's too late. And if you're not following From Within Records on social media, please go boot up Instagram, go boot up X, click that follow button to stay up to date on all the current news. And like I always say, please support From Within Records because they support us. If you're looking for high quality merch for your band or for your business, please hit up my friends over at Good Fortune Printing out of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. You can follow them on Instagram at Good Fortune Printing. If you want to get in contact with them, please email them contact@goodfortuneprinting.com. You can thank me later. And we're about a week out until I fly back to Wilkes-Barre. And that's all I can think about. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see Jeff, Caleb, Nate Prosciutti. I'm really excited to go back to Good Fortune Printing headquarters. It's going to be a major time, and I cannot wait to see all my other friends, Nate Riot, Matt Wren, Shane, just a ton of people. It's going to be a great weekend in Wilkes-Barre. And if you're in the area, please come out to the End of Summer Skate Jam. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be my first time, so I'm very much looking forward to that, and I cannot wait. But on today's episode, we had to track down our good friend EU1OGY. He's been on the podcast a couple times before, but he's back with a new album, Forever Hate. If you're not tapped in, I highly suggest you hit pause, boot up your Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Bandcamp, or whatever, and go stream Forever Hate. I'm a huge fan of EU1OGY. The record is a long time coming. It seriously trips me out that it's been 3 years since the last record. So I'm definitely stoked on new music. And EU1OGY comes from Baltimore, and he tells a very interesting story about a band that he was in. They were signed, and unfortunately things didn't work out, and I was a fan of the band Drip. The demo is still on Spotify. The demo is awesome. I'll link it in the description. I actually listened to it the other day, and to me it's a shame that they never played a show. I'm bummed that I never got to see them, but he tells a very interesting story about that band, how they had a quick rise and just a quick fall as well. Sad story, but I'm just happy that he's still doing music, was in a new band, talks about it on the episode. So please tune in. It's always a pleasure to talk to my friend EU1OGY coming out of Baltimore, a very cool city. Has a ton of great music coming from there. So I highly encourage you to please go stream Forever Hate, support EU1OGY, and enjoy the ride. It's a great album front to back, 10 awesome tracks. So please strap in, enjoy this conversation. Without further ado, welcome EU1OGY to the show. All right, and we're recording. Welcome back to the podcast. Eulogy, how's it going?
Yo, what's up, dude? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I feel like it hasn't been a long time since the last time you were on, even though it's probably been like years. But I'm happy that we've stayed in communication, and I'm happy that you're back on the podcast today. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, dude, for sure, man. I've been, we've like chit chatted, through text since, but yeah, it's been like, I guess, 2021, 2022.
Yeah,
I mean, we did two, so I don't know if we did them both in 21 or one in 21, one in 22, but definitely.
Yeah, it's been years, but
yeah.
But I'm curious about your location because there's a bunch of cool equipment behind you. Where are you?
Oh, I'm in my basement. This is just I have a bunch of gear, like drum sets and shit. So this is where I like do all my when I wake up, I come down here and like practice sometimes, or I got you can't see it, but to the other side of me, it's like a bunch of old like vintage games, video games. I kind of like play those down here while I make music. Just like my little studio room in my basement in my house. Yeah. I can have like band practice here or some shit. So it's cool.
Yeah. I saw the Sega Dreamcast back there.
Oh yeah.
Classic. But that's cool. I honestly, I was thinking about it before, leading up to us doing the podcast, because I don't think you were doing music like full time last time we talked on the podcast.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah,
I wasn't. I was still working at Hopkins in pathology, the pathology department, doing like admin, lab work. So but I made that transition like that summer 2021. I made that transition like in July.
Mm-hmm.
And so doing music full time.
How has it been? Because that's a pretty big move.
It's been wild, luckily my wife and I bought a house like in 2019, right before a pandemic hit. We were blessed to like buy our first house. So, it's kind of made things a little bit easier, like just having like a mortgage just cheaper than most people's rent. So it's cool. It's just her and I in like this house. We, both have studios in our basement, mid floor, and upstairs, like our bedroom and office, like 2.5 baths. So it's chill. Just our dog and our cat. So we just kind of like made a space for ourselves even for me to make that leap like early on, I guess, it was always kind of like the goal in a way. We just didn't know when it would happen. And then, ironically, I was, doing Eulogy had just dropped Daggers. And then, I was also in that hardcore band called Drip, and we had just put out some stuff. So it was kind of like at that time, it just felt right to just be like, oh, let's just go full in on both of these bands and everything else I'm doing, like, and just creatively, and just see what happens. So wild year for me that year, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool that you're able to, get a house, because, out here in California, houses are so expensive. And I always,
we looked.
yeah. And I always come across like these TikToks of like, people like breaking down, like the average income in California versus like the average, price of a home, and how just nothing makes sense. So
yeah, for sure.
It's crazy, but I'm happy that you guys were able to, buy a house, because that's a great achievement.
No, dude, definitely. I'm super blessed. I never imagined a million years that I imagined I'd be able to buy a house. I ain't gonna lie. But we put in some hard work. At the time I was working at Hopkins, and they also like gave me money to put towards it. So just like a blessing. And then at that time, they also helped me pay for like 80% of like my Peabody schooling at the time that I was doing for music production. So working there definitely had its ups and downs, but I definitely used all that I could at my advantage to get me up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's great to see.
It was hard to be there, dude. I'm not gonna lie. It was like an institution. And like, it's just a totally different world up in that place. So I stuck through it, and then did what I had to do. And now we're here. So it's cool. I'm proud of myself. Sure.
Hell yeah. Now, main reason why you're here today is because you just came out with a new album, and I'm curious why there was like a 3-year gap, between Daggers and Forever Hate, because obviously talking to you and following you on social media, it seems like you're always active with the music. So I honestly kind of hear myself say 3 years and think like, holy shit, it doesn't even feel like it's been that long, but that's a pretty significant amount of time.
Yeah, man. So after I released Daggers, I had no like intention to really release music at any certain time after that. I thought that was a statement piece, and it was really just something for me to do to prove not only to myself, but like the industry and the world that as one person, I was able to like kind of like genre bend and cross boundaries. And it was very intentional, like I could have just did a hardcore album. I could have just did an emo pop punk album. I could have did a lot of things that I'm actually influenced by and listen to on a daily, but I chose to create Daggers for a particular reason. And I think that nowadays things are just chewed up and spat out way too fast. When I grew up, like when $3 Bills Y'all came out, I had to wait mad long for Significant Other to come back out for Nuts for Limp Bizkit, And then after that, like Chocolate Starfish, like, I don't know. So to me, I just feel like sometimes things are just rushed, and I didn't want to rush it. I just wanted to make music that felt as though it was the next chapter of my life, but also I didn't have any like limitations or any expectations. And I recorded Forever Hate over the course of like 2 years in like 3 to 5 studios, including in this basement. And that's what we came up with. So I think that it's timeless, like Daggers. I think that 20 years from now, it'll still be as heavy and weird and say what it is without saying what it is. So yeah, that was a wait. But also I was like writing music with Drip, the hardcore band I was in at the time too, simultaneously. And I had a lot of ideas and big plans for that kind of fell to the wayside, unfortunately. And then just a lot of life things, you know what I mean? Like music is my heart and soul, but I just have other things that I like to do too. So I just kind of just living life. I was also freshly into like not working a full-time job at this hospital for like the past, like, that I was at for like the past 6 years, and just a bunch of stuff. Like COVID was just kind of like ending, but still here. And just, I don't know, there was so much going on that music was just like cool. But I was also like, I feel like this was a decent enough project to let sit until I felt like I wanted to come back to it. So yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you, taking your time and not wanting to rush music, because, you can only make like a first impression once, especially with, there's like always like the idea of like the sophomore slump that people like to look at. And then also, if people are looking for new music and you don't come out with your best, foot forward out the jump, it's like, you can't really recreate that. It's like, going to be like a stain until the next project.
Nah, dude. I mean, I had that weird mindset since the first single with UOG, because I technically got signed off my first song that I put out. Mm-hmm. So ever since, even before I put out Daggers again, I was always like, oh God, I don't want to be this person that had like all this hype off of like one thing and then I'm toasted. So, I think, it's hard to have a follow up and it be just as good and or, well received. So I had those jitters at first, but then again, I had to remind myself why I make music, and it's not for other people. It's for myself, and I'm trying to push myself and my ideas. So I felt as though I did that, and I was happy to like take the time to do it. I mean, it was done within like a year, maybe a year and a half, but there was like a lot of mixing and mastering and then editing. I added a drummer to the project, Michael Cadnar, and just a bunch of other things. So I kind of just wanted to make sure it was done right in the right way, because the sound of it could have went a lot of different ways. And I just wanted to be really particular with what I was putting out.
And did you kind of give yourself any kind of timeline to record over the past 3 years, or were you just kind of, feeling it out?
Nope. I mean, I don't have a reason to. I I don't owe anyone like an album or any labels, like any, I do this all because I want to. So there was literally no expectations. That was just like, I'm an artist. I'm going to record another album. And when it's done, it's done.
Yeah, because I did see that you were active, playing shows in between. So I was always curious, like, like what's going on with new music. But, like, honestly, from like someone from like the outside looking in, I was just like, all right, I'm just waiting. I think there's new music coming, but,
Yeah. Yeah. Again, like, Sleigh Bells had invited me onto some shows for their tour. When they released Texas, and I played a bunch of shows in between there with just like, King Yusuf and Trace Amount and a bunch of just like bands in between. I'm down to play with anyone and everyone for the most part. So for me, I think a lot of people might not understand what route I'm going for when they see me play shows, because I don't just play with like one type of band. I played with like Soulblind. I played with, like I said, King Yusuf. I played with Sleigh Bells. Like I want to tour Sleigh Bells. I'm just down to rock out. I think my music embodies a lot of music and a lot of ethos. So I'm open to whatever, as long as the other people are. And what I'm coming to find out is like most people just aren't, because it's a little bit different. Now that I have a drummer, I think it's received a lot differently. And a lot of people are more open to me playing with like just straight up bands. But before, it was kind of like, that whole thing where it's like, oh, you're not a hardcore band, so like why would we play with you, type thing. But I think we're a little bit past that, kind of, but not really. So yeah, I think eulogy just kind of like makes people feel like, okay, either you're in or out, but it's not just one thing. It's kind of hard to pinpoint what it is. So I think show wise, people kind of don't know where to put me sometimes.
I feel like a lot of people felt that way for Glitterer, because when Ned first started with Glitterer, it was just like him and a laptop, and people were kind of like scratching their head, like what is this? But then come to find out, Glitterer was awesome, but they sound even better with like a live band. So once he got people to play the live instruments with him, everybody's like, oh, this makes sense now, which is like a little strange, because it was for the most part it's still the same music, but he's got to fill out the stage performance.
Nah, I mean, my friend he didn't tell me who, but my friend in Jersey was like, yeah, someone tried to write you off as karaoke. And I was like, okay, cool, bet. Like I like, it's kind of like some hater shit, but I kind of needed to hear it because it made me reassess like how I was presenting the project in a way. So, I see what you mean with Glitter. Like I saw them when they first started, early, because my friends in High from Jersey played with them. But yeah, I get it. But also it's like, damn, it's 2024. Like, can we be a little bit more open, It seems very like dated to still try to like box someone out just because they don't have like a full ensemble. But that's another story,
Yeah, it's kind of whack, because it's like you would imagine like holy shit, like we have all this access to information, and you would seem like the world is way more accepting of like something new, something different. But it's just like like unfortunately in hardcore, like a lot of things need like the stamp of approval, needs to be like okayed by like somebody with status before people feel like it's okay to like it, which is whack.
Yeah, it's always been like that though. Like I'm like 20 years in this shit, and I can't think of a time it hasn't been like that. Even with Drip, like we got signed to Flat Spot off of just like it being good, but then it quickly being shelved when like I voiced how I felt about what we're talking about now, straight up. So I think it's always been kind of like a little, not gatekeepy, but like, yeah, we're going to pick who's actually getting this play. It's not, I don't think it's up to like the consumer sometimes. I think it's up to like the people who are already kind of like spinning and swinging things.
Yeah. It was pretty interesting when I would ask people from your area about you, and everyone knew the name, But
yeah, dude.
yeah. So I find it really interesting that a band like Drip, didn't get the time to shine, because that demo was awesome.
Well, I'm gonna mention that right quick, if you don't mind. But like I said, I've been in this shit for 20 years, bro. Like when I was in 2004, I started a band called Dead Above Ground. The bands that stemmed from that band alone were Trapped Under Ice, Surroundings, and then myself, who went to do other things. Klippa, who was an original Trapped Under Ice demo, was in Dead Above Ground when we quit, when we stopped playing. Who then left and did that. The two twins, Jake and Josh, rest in peace, Josh, they started Surroundings, which was on Free Cake with Play Lenore. They did the thing, Gavin was their singer. Gavin's still out here to this day doing another band. And I was just talking about them today. Like, I've been around, like, I know all these people, dude, since I was 18 years old. You name them, I know them. I was always like this outside other who kind of like, not only being black, I don't put race into it, but like, I was one of the only black men around all the time to this day. Like, even Akil grew up the street from me. Like, I'm older than him. He was like coming to my shows. So I feel like people have a lot of things to say to me about me because I'm very outspoken and I'm not with the fuck shit. You know what I mean? Like, I really keep it real hardcore. Like, I am hardcore, like, and I find it odd that like, people don't want to like all of a sudden rally behind me because I was put in a position of like being like addressed as like an artist. You know what I mean? Like, I got a lot of, from Revolver to AP to even doing interviews with you and like my connection, and Sin from Soulblind, who like was like, oh, Eulogy, you know what I mean? Like, bro, like I said, bro, I was literally, I have the Drip tape right here, like Drip tape, like Flat Spot Records, bro. Like, bro, like all I did was say my piece. Like, hey, I'm a black man in this scene. Like, this is what happens to me. Like, I'm being real with y'all. Next day, not even in real life, I'm at Che and Brady's house, who live 2 blocks from me, from Turnstile. Che and like, I'm rapping to him like, he told me to come through to bring him a tape because he had just got back. I'm telling him like, yo, dude, just to let you know, like, this is what I was just telling him like, pretty much he was booking the first festival for what he's doing now. And I was like, oh, this certain booker that you're booking it through, like, doesn't like me, bro. They've been fucking with me for years. Do they know that I'm the singer of Drip? He was like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Like, fuck it. I'm like, all right, bet, let's go. And I was like, oh, so just so you know, like, this is what's happening to me behind closed doors. Like, I'm being like bullied, ostracized, like blacklisted. Like, people are telling me I can't come places, but not telling it to my face. You know what I mean? Like, my homies are on tour. They're playing venues, putting me on a guest list, and then people are saying, oh, he can't come. And I'm like, well, why? And then they're like, oh, there's beef. And I'm like, well, what's the beef? It's in like this like weird like circle of like people just for some reason wanted me to fuck out of here. And then it was like telephone where no one could tell me like what was going on. And then, so that's just how it's been for years now. Like, I've been dealing with it for years, bro. I got famous people right now, like, copywriting, trademarking my name, and like, I've been kind of vocal about it, but I can't because I got lawyers. And even with this shit that I'm dealing with now, like, I can't really talk about it and say names because it's like, it's now been like a defamation case, like, I got people who I literally booked and helped years ago in bands that are like lit, like, who don't even like talk to me, and it's like, bro, to me, it's like, yo, what the fuck's going on? Like, all I said was like, this shit's fucked up out here for me, a person of color. And then that's that with that. So I'm still trying to figure it out. At the end of the day, it's just like, it's weird, but it's also like, bro, like, I'm lit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm an actual artist. Like, I actually do this shit full time. I own a house. I'm married. Like, why the fuck are y'all hating on me? Like, I don't get it. Like, I thought this is what we were trying to do with our lives. You know what I mean? So I'm not a violent person, but there's been people who have like kind of threatened me, in the hardcore scene and shit, and like try to like bully me and try to say like, well, if you show up, and I'm like, that's wild that you guys like do that, because I know if I would have show up and just knock someone in the face, like, I'm gonna get the cops called on me. You know what I mean? So it's like these weird like microaggressions I've been experiencing in this small town for quite a long time from people that you probably even talk to. But I think for me, my position has kind of always been like to be this muse, this person to like kind of like be the vessel that is like keeping it real, regardless of like what's backing or what's cool or what's not. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm sorry to make you uncomfortable. I'm just keeping it real. You know what I mean? Because I'm glad you said that, and I'm glad that like once again someone's like, oh, like I've asked people around about you, but like didn't seem like you had anything positive come back with me for them. You know what I mean? And that's like shocking to me because like I'm such an honest, open person. You know.
I wouldn't say it was all negative. It was mixed.
It was probably mixed, but it was probably more negative than positive.
And
I just know, you know what I mean? Because like again, none of these people talk to me.
Yeah, and I found it just very surprising because obviously, like I have, like a relationship with you. I like, like we talk. So like, obviously, like I see you, from what I know is just like, who you really are. And I can totally understand how someone who is outspoken and wanting to keep it real, could rub a lot of people the wrong way because, it's kind of, really strange how like people just can't be themselves and obviously like publicly they have like one version of themselves, but then privately it's like they're just not that at all. So like I'm not surprised that people are wanting to try to box you out and not support what you have going on, especially like I said, like everything that I've known about you. You just want to put out good music, spread a positive message, nothing negative.
Bro,
like
that's all I'm on.
Yeah, for like the years that we've known each other, like I've never felt anything different from you. Like you've never given me any weird vibes or like the things that you say on the podcast and even off air. To me, you're the same person.
I am, bro. I'm through and through. I mean, I know I am, and the people that actually know me and around me can contest to that. And also like the people who like probably hate me can too. You know what I mean? And that's why I put out the album Forever Hate. It was literally a letter to Baltimore. Every song on that track is like a fuck you to anyone who's ever like try to do weird or say weird shit about me. It was like, I just wrote them off in the songs. Like, and that was it. That was like kind of like also why it took so long. Cause I was trying to channel like the feelings I was feeling from receiving all this type of weird behavior from people that I thought were my friends, or at least people that I thought we were in this community with, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's like where Forever Hate comes from. That goes back to the album, like if you listen to it, every song is like, I'm speaking directly to lots of people. And if they listen to it, they're going to know exactly who I'm talking to. And, that was my, like, again, I make music to like release, and that was my release, and it actually just happened to be one of my greatest pieces of work that I think since in my 20-year career. So thank you to everyone who like had something to like contribute to that, good or bad, energy wise,
And going back to, like that Flat Spot show, did you guys ever end up playing, or were you actually like?
Bro, Drip never played a show. We got put on and taken off before we ever did a show. And that's why I think it's so great that it happened to me that way, because it just goes to show not only how good the band was and the idea of the band, but also how fucked up scene politics are. Yeah, that was going to be our first show. The Disturbing the Peace show, first Disturbing the Peace show was going to be our first show. We were going to open it. I can show you the text messages, bro. Like, it's wild to me that like literally within a 24-hour span, 2 years of hard work and money, just because I was like, yo, by the way, I'm going to keep it real. Like, it's literally like a Dave Chappelle skit. It's literally like a Dave Chappelle skit, bro. When keeping it real goes wrong. Like, I thought, when I was sitting there in front of Brady and Che, I thought I was just kicking the shit. He even told me, yo, you're going to be good. Don't worry about it. You got the flat spot shield. Like, you good. Like, everybody that's with us pops off. Don't worry about none of that shit. I'm like, cool. Thank you. You're a real nigga. Next morning, not even a phone call. I get a text message with some bullshit. And I'm like, bro, that's why I was telling you last night all this shit. Mm-hmm. Because I'm letting you know, like, this is what it is. And you said it was going to be good. And now you're saying it's not good. So like, what the fuck, you know? And that fucked me up. I'm not going to lie. But also it just made me realize, like, at least it made me realize, yo, you're a dope artist. Like, these Flat Spot does not just fuck with anybody. You know what I mean? So the fact that we got this far, that I even had the physical in my hand, whether it came out or not, I did it. I did that. I'm on the roster. I'm the bastard child of the roster, along with like outsiders and maybe like, cause I did the same thing to that band too. Maybe a couple others, but like, yeah, dude, like, so to me, I was like, I kind of had my chest out because I was like, well, at least I was recognized by that. You know what I mean? And I got Eulogy going on its shit. Like, fuck, I'm lit. Again, I was like, even though it was kind of bad, I was like, yo, like, that was me being acknowledged as like the artist and creator that I am. You know what I mean? So I wasn't mad about it. I was just mad about the fact that that's how they went about it. Cause I was like, damn, y'all was going to put my band out and do whatever it wants and get whatever accolades you guys were going to get out of it. Just like whatever I would get out of it. But just that fast, you were also able to just like ditch it. You know what I mean? Because of like me being like, yo, this is what it is out here sometimes for me as like a black person. And again, it's not about color, but like, let's be real. Like the hardcore scene is predominantly like all white. I'd be dealing with fucked up shit, low-key, you know? And I thought with having like bands like Zulu and End It, again, you know, people that they were like, they were repping marginalized people. I thought me saying that shit wouldn't have been a problem, honestly. So that's why I was confused at why it was a problem. Like, and to this day, I don't know, you know, my bandmate at the time was this dude, Mitch. He knew Ricky personally. So he reached out to Ricky because he used to be, in this band called, Sacred Love. And he worked with Ricky before with some, you know, playing shows and stuff. And it was just weird, bro. They just kind of like iced us, man. Like not even like, bro, like not even a phone call. Like, come on, dog. You was about to put my whole ass band out and all this shit and I can't get a phone call.
Now, was there any attempt to just play another show?
No, bro. Cause it was like, fuck this shit. Bro, that's some gnarly ass shit, dude. That's gnarly, bro. Think about it. That's gnarly. Any label, I don't care if it was Flat Spot, whoever, or anybody, like you just gonna ice a nigga off of them keeping it real and then like no conversation, like, and we're talking about community and a scene. So I was like, I don't fucking play no shows. Like, this is bogus. Like, y'all all are fake as fuck. And not just like Flat Spot, just like the scene, like, this is bogus. Like what's going on here? You know what I mean? Like, and again, Baltimore's small as shit. Like the hardcore scene is not that big when you think about it, you know? So I literally exit stage left. I'll listen to the music. Cool. Like, if that's the energy y'all putting out, then like, why are we here?
And when you say, for keeping it real, is this something that you said that night at their apartment, or was this?
Bro, yes, it was everything I said, dude. It was, I was kicking facts. I was like, yo, this is what I deal with. This is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. Whoop, whoop. Like, I was being super transparent. I wasn't lying. I'm a very honest person. Like I said, I left my job at Hopkins to go do music and full time because this is what was about to happen to me. You know what I mean? Like, Jay hit me up when I was in my office, like, yo, what's up with Flat Spot? You down? I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. Were you kidding me? Like, the dude lived 3 blocks from my house. I just walked to his house when I got off of work that day. We talked. You know what I mean? Like, so again, I'm not trying to talk shit, and it's not no bad, nothing on nobody, but like, I just feel like people got to be a little bit better of how they like treat people. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't like, this is like real life shit. You know what I mean? Like, I left my whole ass career to like pursue something that was easily just snatched away without even a phone call. Like, now, luckily I was in a position where it wasn't that big of a deal for me to still not have my job and not be doing the full-time band shit like I imagined I was going to be doing. But like, what if I wasn't? You know what I mean? What if I wasn't one of those people? Then I would have been asked out. Then like what? You know what I mean? And that's where like, I was kind of like, again, that's where Forever Hate comes from, you know? Like, it was just like, bro, like, these people out here saying wild shit all because like, I spoke my piece and like said like how it is out here. You know what I mean? That's wild. And again, I was like, I thought this was hardcore, bro. So I think I said some tweets too, like, oh, I'm gonna sell all these flat spot tapes for like a stack because like these niggas didn't keep it real or something. You know what I mean? I was just like pissed. And they like had a problem with me saying like that. And I was just like, bro, y'all didn't keep it real with me. I don't care what you guys say to me no more, bro. Like, and I think because of that, that trickled into like other bands not fucking with me and people that are managed by them not fucking with me. And then I was reached out to other people and they weren't answering calls. I'm like, oh, I guess that's it. You know? So, I don't know, bro. That was the drip story. Like, you know, but we about eulogy and that's where Forever Hate comes from. And I'm doing new vocals for this hardcore band called Dove. You know, it's rips. I sent you some of the stuff. Mm-hmm. Like I'm still hardcore forever, but I just feel like the scene politics, and I'm not saying this with that label. I'm just saying with everybody, like that shit gotta stop, bro. Like there's really kids out here, and I'm speaking for them that really feel ostracized and like feel like that all these people out here ain't really trying to like let them in because it's just turned into like the cool kid club almost. And I just feel like if this really stems from what the roots are, then we got to go back to just like open arms and like really giving people a shot, you know? And maybe like, even if the shot don't work, then that's done, you know, don't book them again. But I just really feel like it's just like this network is only getting smaller and smaller. And like from a lot of people on the outside that ain't a part of it, like they feel like fucked up off of it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So that's why I kind of was like, yo, why am I in hardcore? Like I'm being treated like, you know?
Now starting this new band, do you fear any like repercussions from like what happened in the past?
I didn't start it. Mm-hmm. I didn't start it. I just got asked to sing in it. And then like, cause I was playing a eulogy show and my homie was doing sound. He's like, yo, you want to like fill in for us? Like Abe moved. Shout out to Abe. Cause Abe was like the singer. He just moved to Florida and he was like, yo, Doug, you trying to sing? And I'm like, I mean, yeah. And then fast forward to like 2 weeks from now that's coming up. I was like, yo, we playing at a venue that you know that like they said I can't come in there. Like they're part of like the people that don't fuck with me. And he was like, what do we do? And I was like, I don't know, but like, I feel like I shouldn't even be in your band because I don't want to like cause problems for y'all. Like niggas don't like me. It is what it is. But like, I don't feel like that's fair to you. And he was like, fuck them. So maybe it's fuck them. Maybe it's not. I just don't, again, I'm down to rock and roll, but I'm not with the shits like ain't nobody going to stop me from playing shows. You know what I mean? And no one's going to stop me from doing my thing, but I just don't think it's fair that like, I'm in this situation where like anybody like that tries to be involved with me, it has to make a decision whether they're going to rock with me or not, because like outsiders like have an opinion, you know. I'm a super like conscious person. I don't want to put that on anyone, you know what I mean? But mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I will see what happens. I don't know. Dove's pretty lit, you know. I like doing vocals. I wrote some songs for him. I think it's really good. Everybody in the band I actually know already, ironically. Like I showed up to practice because I not only knew Ryan, you know what I mean, like the guitar player, and then I showed up to practice and they added another guitar player who I've known, and another kid, the kid Nick who plays bass. Like I was a fan of one of his bands like 12 years ago. You know what I mean? So, and then the drummer, I don't know him, but he's a fan of like, I do A&R work for this label called Silent Pendulum Records. And he's like a fan of like a lot of the band's music we put out. So it was just like, I had a connection with everyone in the band, even though I didn't really know anyone. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. Like everyone said it was lit, you know what I mean? But also, again, I'm not trying to like be in scene politics, you know? So we'll see if the music just takes us there and people rock with it because it's good, or we'll see if like people try to, I mean, that's the funny part now, you know. I told my homie, I was like, bro, watch what happens when like people find out I'm a singer now. Like, let's see what, like how people, and he's like, oh, people already told me not to fuck with you. He's like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, you're my homie. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, so we'll see, you know. I think it rips. I think it has potential, but also I think those like dreams for me are kind of like, I feel like I've done it and I've made a name for myself, and like anything I do now is going to be like at that caliber. So I don't really have to like fight a scene or like try to prove myself anymore. You know what I mean? I think I'm known as an artist, and I feel like I'm kind of blessed to be at that moment in my life where you love or hate me. You know what I mean? Because it's like I'm obviously making people feel some type of way, and like to me that's like the best reaction. You know, like my wife always says, all press is good press. You know what I mean? She's like, at least like my friends are like, yo, at least people feel like, he's like, imagine like, he's like, if you weren't doing something right, people wouldn't care or feel any type of way. They would just like brush it off and keep it moving. He's like, you're at the point where like people saying you can't come into the spot, and not because I've done anything violent or anything, just like we don't like them. But also no one's ever personally told me these things. It's always been someone saying something, you know? So as far as I know, I can still pop up any spot. It's just, I was been told I can't come, you know, or I can't play. So we'll see. It's weird, dude. It's weird. It's weird shit. But anywhere outside of here, I'm lit. Like outside of Baltimore, I'm good. I don't got no problems. I tour, soul shows sell out, whatever. It's just in this small ass town where I've been most of my life, you know?
Now, you said you have a show coming up in a couple of weeks at a place.
We got like 6 shows. We got mad shows booked. And dude gave me a list. I was like, can I go? Can we play this? Like, I don't know. They don't fuck with me there. Like last time I checked. So he was like, I don't know what we do. And I'm like, I don't know what we do either.
I feel like you have to find out for yourself. Fuck this telephone game. Yeah. You just got to show up and you find out like what's really going on.
But that's the thing too. Like, I don't like, you know, I feel like sometimes people try to deem me as a big bad wolf, and I feel like there's been lots of situations I've just you know, Homer Simpson back into the bushes, because I ain't trying to really cause no problems like that. You know, not right now in my life. I'm a grown ass man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I've just always been like, oh, nigga said I can't come. I'm not going to come. Like, why would I like, obviously they don't want me there. So like, if I come and something, I'm going to get punched in the face or something. Like, come on, we know how shit goes at shows sometimes, bro. Like, people don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, people don't act like people don't get beat up at shows and jump and shit. Like, that shit happens, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen videos of bands where they pull out guns and knuckles and shit. Like, you know what I mean? And again, I'm not saying that the scene's violent, but like, you know, shit happens. So it's like, why would I even agitate some shit? If they were like, yo, Jamie, don't show up, you're probably not going to show up, dude. You know what I mean? Like, or if you do, you're going to feel fucking awkward as shit. Or you're going to want to come with like 10 people. And if you come with 10 people, then that's going to look weird.
Yeah. Cause then it looks like I'm trying to do something, trying to get some shit started.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know what I mean? So I'm just, like I said, I'm a grown ass man. Like, I'm smart. If nobody wants to have an actual conversation and be a human being, then I feel like I'm just going to off it and keep it moving. Like, and when I see you, I see you. We'll see what happens. You know what I mean? I got lawyers. I'm not going to punch nobody. I ain't going to throw no fists. Like, I know what that takes. So like, if people don't like me and that's the only power they have over me is to say that I can't come into a specific venue, then like, I don't give a fuck, bro. Fuck your venue. You know what I mean? Some of the venues that say that I've worked for. So like, you're weird. You know what I mean? Don't care. Like, we lit out here, you know?
So with Dove, obviously, you mentioned.
Shout out Dove.
Shout out Dove.
I told Ryan, I was like, should I mention Dove? He's like, yeah, mention Dove. I was like, all right, so shout out Dove. Like, we lit. Let's go.
Yeah. Are there plans to record? Because like you said, you mentioned earlier.
Oh, we already. Ryan owns the studio. The guitar player owns the studio. Mm-hmm. So we practice at the studio for. This is funny to me. I don't know if he's going to get mad if I say this, but like, Ryan was in this band called Wakefield that was on Drive Thru back in the day, like pop punk band, and his brother is actually the original drummer of Good Charlotte. But he's been my homie for like a minute. You know what I mean? But I had to plug that in there because I was a fan of Wakefield and Good Charlotte growing up. So it's an honor to even like be working with him. You know what I mean? But yeah, he owns his own studio. So like, we got songs already. All the songs, they sent me a whole pretty much album. I had to learn the songs in like a week. You know what I mean? And I wrote to like three songs, you know? So I'm already like, I'm locked in, you know what I mean? I don't even know if I'm officially the singer. Like I said, we're just like, let's rock, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, he's asked me to sing, but no one's been like, hey, you're the singer. But I feel like I might be the singer. You know what I mean? I don't know. Cause again, Abe just moved to Florida. I don't know what's going on. Like, he might come back, he might not, but he ain't going to come fly up to Baltimore every like weekend to play like the DIY show in the basement. Like, it's not. who does that, you know? So I'm just holding the torch until we get to it. But I would love to be the singer, but we haven't had that conversation with, so I'm gonna let them man up and ask me if I'm officially down or not. But like I said, the fact that they're rocking with me and that's the homie, like, I think, it's going to do great things. And there's a lot of cool hardcore bands coming out right now that I don't think are even getting any time of day right now in Baltimore. But I give it a couple of months. I think in the winter, it's going to be a new little mini scene emerging. Because right now, bro, like I'm saying, it's just a bunch of bands like high-fiving and like clicking up, and that's it right here around here. And then it's like, it's either you're like up here and it's just like, it's like 8 bands and it's like 30 of them just like at the wayside, like, you know. So we'll see what happens within the scene right now. It's moving a little iffy to me. But hey, if this shit's really about the music, then I think it's going to be a really fun year in Baltimore in the next 3 years, you know. So there's a lot of, there's not even hardcore. I think there's a new resurgence of just like things happening here. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Dove, we'll see what happens with Dove. It's more like punky than it is hardcore. You know, it's more fast than it is heavy, but the heavy parts are heavy. You know what I mean? And I've never really been in a band like that. So I'm pretty excited to see like, how I can like, get my brain to really write in that way. Cause I haven't written some music like that. You know, I feel like every band I'm in is a little different. So this band's like faster than most of the bands I've been in. So I'm used to like growling and screaming, and this one's more like, you know, D-beat, punk beat. So I don't know, man. I'm just trying to make music, dude. So it don't really, you know what I mean? It don't really mean much to me, where I'm playing, you know. It could be 10 people, it could be 1,000 people. I've done it both. In the same week, I've literally played shows where I've played to 1,000 people and then played to like 20 with the same project. Like, so it doesn't matter to me. And I'm just excited to do it all, like still to this day. So we'll see what happens with Dove. I'm doing a lot of other shit. I A&R for, like I said, Silent Pendulum Records. I just signed my first artist, Lord's Wrath. Next up is this artist named Glim. I'm still looking for like younger bands to like work with. There's a couple of bands in Baltimore have asked me to play drums for them, or like guitar or like bass, or just kind of help coach them to get to where they need to be, which I'm super down. I'm super down right now for a lot of like behind the scenes work, you know, just advocating for kids who like don't really know how to like navigate this whole thing. So it's been a fun journey since I last talked to you, man. And again, with all that shit I was talking about later about the labels and stuff, it's all love, but like, I'm just saying my story, like this shit really happened to me. You know what I mean? So I'm lit though, dude. I'm really proud of like Forever Hate and what I created with that. And like, if you, I don't know if you noticed, but like, I didn't do a rollout, you know, I didn't like put out a video. I didn't like just release a single and a single and a single. I didn't drop a whole album. And like on my birthday, I literally was in Revolver the week before for a music video that I did for Puke. And we didn't even mention that album, like on purpose. Cause I'm trying to like prove a point. Like, I don't think you have to go that route all the time, you know, people paying like thousands of dollars for PR and shit like that. To me, it's just kind of weird. So I just wanted to just like drop an album that I thought was a masterpiece and just let it really, truly do its work and see what happens. And I've gotten great response. Like, people send me money on Bandcamp. I forgot you could even do that. Like, I got like my PayPal's like, woo! I'm like, oh shit! Like, damn, people bought this shit for $10 more than what I even said to like put it up at. So that made me feel really good that I have like actual fans that care and buy music. And people are just like, oh, are you going to tour? Like, I'm supposed to tour. I didn't like just said fuck it and I'm not touring. You know what I mean? Like, cause I don't know, dude. I'm just like, fuck it, bro. I'm just trying to put out some music and we'll see what happens, you know? Like, I don't think it's got to be about all that other shit sometimes, you know? I get the touring and you got to build fans and that, but like for me right now, I'm just trying to be like in bunker mode. And I still got I got 2 albums in the tuck right now, you know? I'm about to work with MGW Records with Scott Waldman. He manages like Avril Lavigne and Taking Back Sunday and AFI, or has managed all these people and et cetera. And I'm about to do some music with him, you know, put out some music through him. And, that's going to be super cool because he's like kind of like a legend low key, you know what I mean? And he's the reason why I actually got an AP years ago. And, he started like a label along with his management company and asked me to be a part of it. So I'm blessed for that, you know. Forever Hate's coming out on vinyl because, like I said, my drummer owns Silent Pendulum Records. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's like a more like metal adjacent label. Like No Suffers on there. This cool, really cool band from Texas. Cell Damage. We just put out like Heavy Lolo's Everything's Watched vinyl for the first time because they didn't put it out when they were with Barrett. We just did Psyopus, Into the Moat, like stuff like that, you know, for vinyl. So specifically vinyl label, but we're trying to. We also just started working with like a tattoo company and a brand, and doing stuff like their marketing and clothing and stuff. So it's a really cool thing to be a part of. And I just did some creative direction for like Project Pat, some merch for him. My homie, you know, Brock from Bib.
Mm-hmm.
He actually like designed it, but I created it with my brother because my brother's like his bodyguard and they needed merch for like some of their shows and tours. So I reached out to him. So I'm doing like cool, like, you know, behind the scenes work with like shit like that. I was like, yo, it'd be cool if Project Pat had like a hardcore band looking type t-shirt. And, you know, Brock does like the illest like posters and shit. So I've been working with him since like 2017, low key, ever since I played in Omaha. He did his post. He's been doing posters for me since then, actually a while now. And, I was like, yo, dude, like, you want to help me like do the shit for Project Pat? Like, it's official. And he was like, fuck yeah, you know, and I was like, bam, you know, so I'm just kind of doing stuff like that now too, you know, besides just like music and trying to be like in bands, you know. So it's been a cool journey right now. Like, I'm just trying to like I said, I'm an artist more than just a musician. So I'm really trying to like show people that, okay, yeah, I got art and music, but like I do a bunch of other shit too, you know, and I'm trying to like show the world that like ain't no slowing me down, dude. You know what I mean? Okay, you don't like my band, you don't like whatever the fuck. Like I'm out here, like it's official. Like I am staped in like it's a staple. It's stamped. It's like I'm not going nowhere, bro. Like I'm literally working with like people behind the scenes, like I just said, like that are way bigger than these venues and these like all this shit, you know. So it's just unfortunate that it went down this way because it just shows people's true colors, bro. You know, it really shows like how the scene and industry kind of works. And it's a really big letdown for me. And hopefully things are able to get patched up. But right now, the way I see it, y'all got some explaining to do, you know? So.
Yeah. And it seems like sometimes people, you know, get in the mindset that there's not enough to go around. But, you know,
so much to go around.
Exactly. Like hearing all the cool shit that you're doing behind the scenes, like stuff that I'm hearing for the first time. It's like, oh shit, like you really are out there staying busy doing your own thing.
Yeah, dude, I really am. And I've been like, bro, like all these people are approaching me. Like I'm not like even with the Flat Spot shit, they came to me. I didn't ask to be on that label. I didn't ask for Silent Pendulum to like work with me. I didn't ask for Cell Vision to work with me. I didn't ask for Scott Waldman, who's managed almost every artist I like, to hit me up. You know what I mean? So it took me a while to really be like, oh fuck, like maybe I'm on to something. You know what I mean? So I'm just excited to just be a creative and see where all this shit takes me, you know? Cause man, I really love this shit, dude. You know what I mean? Just like, you know, I still haven't started a podcast, but I'm doing things now that kind of like emulate podcasts, you know, where I'm still like one-on-oneing with people and like talking to them and getting behind the story, you know? And I think that's like such a beautiful thing that, you're still doing it. And like, I've seen, like you did Fantasy Camp and I was like, oh fuck yeah. I love Fantasy Camp. You know what I mean? And Fantasy Camp worked with like the kid that I just signed, you know what I mean? So like shit like that is just like, it's just cool to see that like you're still at it and like the reach that you have now, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
dope, dude. I like
it's fun and you know it's work too, right? Because like as much as I still love doing it, like I'm out here still reaching out to people to come on and still making sure everything runs smoothly over here, you know, because I could have you know got people to help me out with this, but I feel like I just don't really want to trust anybody with it, because it's like, nobody's going to care as much as I do about it. Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's fine.
My name is my name.
Yeah. So, but it's cool. Yeah. And shout out Fancy Camp. I love Jonah. He's someone who I always speak highly of, because no matter, how big he's gotten, right? He also plays in Hot Mulligan. They toured with Fall Out Boy, doing like arena shit, and just continually doing bigger and bigger stuff with Hot Mulligan, and Fancy Camp still doing shit. He's someone that I can talk to behind the scenes, and has never cool guyed me, has never switched up. So I always just have to speak positively of someone like Jonah, just because, like, I don't know. When I think about, like, when people get to a point where they're like, where they become too cool, I just have to remind myself, I'm like, all right, that's like a fake motherfucker. Because when I look at someone like Jonah, who's like, more famous, more successful than a lot of these people that, cool guy me, I'm just like, all right, like, I was like, you have no reason to act like this. Like, like someone, who's way more successful than you and with way more status, can treat me just like a normal person, right? Like I don't get why you think you're better than me, or you can think you can treat me like shit. So, like, that's how I always, have to kind of take a step back and just remind myself, like, okay, like, there's issues with like that person, right? Because I've, just like yourself, like, I've just been me through and through, and meeting a lot of people. Not a lot of people like that, right? People want you to be a certain way. They want to be able to, try to control you and have you say certain things, or not be yourself. And it's just like, I'm never going to sacrifice that. And I've always, just been like, okay, like, if you're not going to like me, that's fine. It might, set me back a little, but I'm willing to, deal with the struggle, then, conform and be fake, and not be able to, like, lay my head at night and know that I've always just been me.
Yeah, no, that's real, dude. I always had this saying that I can never fall off because I slow climb. I slow climb so I can never fall off. And, like, that's like you too. Like, I feel like the people who just try to reach for it too fast, too quickly for a come up, is always going to, like, you're going to fall, bro. That shit is here today, going tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, I have this saying, it's on, like, a lot of the new eulogy merch that's going to come out. It's going to say, like, it could happen to you too. Cause, like, in whatever way that you might take that, interpret it, is, real to me. Cause it's like, I've just seen so many people switch up over nothing. And then year later, like, they're back to, like, their band's not even together no more. Then it's like, yo, you was acting all like that for what? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of weird, but it's also like, just like, well, I mean, you read Lord of Flies, probably, you know what I mean? Like, it's been like this way from the beginning, So it's just people like me and you and Fantasy Camp, other people, just like, we're needed to just, like, be existent in the spaces that people just don't always keep it real. And I think that's, like, what is why you're able to do what you do still. You know what I mean? Like, I think about it, if you weren't doing something that was actually, like, stable for the community and the scene, then, like, you wouldn't be a podcaster right now. Like, the podcaster realm, from the time I met you to now, has been like, people tried to hop on, failed miserably. They're still trying to hop on, realizing, oh shit, this is a lot more time and effort than I thought. Like, and here you are, like, years later, still trucking, you know what I mean? New logos, everything, so just dope. I have so much love and respect for you, bro. Straight up. I've never even met you. Hey, next time you're in PA, let me know, because I see you be up in PA sometimes. Like, that's only an hour for me, dude. Like,
oh, really? Okay, interesting.
yeah. Baltimore's pretty close to Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll
Philly's like 90 minutes from here.
Okay. Yeah, I like to spend.
I'm like, this motherfucker was in Pennsylvania.
yeah. I got a lot of love for Pennsylvania. So, but yeah, no, for sure.
Pennsylvania's got some good people out there for sure.
Yeah, I'll definitely reach out next time I'm in the area.
yeah.
But
hey, I mean, honestly, you should just dip on down to Baltimore. It's literally an hour away, dude. It's like 2 hours away. It's 90 minutes max, but on a bad day, just traffic, it might be 2 hours. But hey, you could make some rounds here easy because Baltimore is super small. So just letting you know. And I got a guest room. If you ever want to come crash, you're more than welcome.
You know, there's a couple places that I want to visit in Baltimore. There's
where?
Leakin Park.
Okay. Oh, you're into like murder mysteries and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
True crime. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
that makes sense.
Yeah, and then there's like a certain Best Buy out there too that I want to go just visit.
What?
Well, you know, because it's a part of like the Serial podcast. So like allegedly, the murder took place in the Best Buy parking lot, and there was like this crucial phone call that happened at this payphone that never existed inside like the vestibule of the Best Buy. So it's just like, you know, it's like a destination for anyone who's like a fan of that podcast.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, not too many Best Buys around here, but they're definitely they're here. I don't think they sell CDs anymore though.
It's okay. I just want to see the parking lot and like the entrance.
Okay, that's fair enough. You need to get that visual. Well, hey, I'm pretty sure that's easy. I'm trying to think I wonder what Best Buy it is, but yeah, you could easily do that. Easily. Baltimore is easy to navigate. It's tiny.
Yeah. It's near one of those high schools out there. I've heard the name of the high school.
Okay. I gotta look more back into that story. I only know bits and pieces about it. But I know it's like a pretty popular, true crime story that I didn't know that was that popular. And so I went to like Ohio and I heard like it on like a podcast, like driving out there one time. I was like, wait, what? Like, why do people keep talking about this?
Yeah. You know, I got put onto it because I have this friend, shout out to Jordan from Vegas, and she was visiting one time, and she knew that I listened to like MMA podcasts and Joe Rogan, but she's like, hey, have you ever thought about listening to something like this? And she was on it like when it was like new, when it was dropping new episodes every week. And I caught on after she had told me about it, and by the time I got into it, it was already wrapped up. So I was like playing catch up, and it became like this crazy obsession. And I still think about it to this day, even though the guy who I think is innocent got let out of jail after serving I think close to like 20 years in jail for a murder that he didn't commit, but there's still like, so he got let out, but now like the family of the girl who got murdered is trying to send him back because they don't think he should have got let out. It's like this crazy thing, which I didn't even think would still be a thing after, because I thought in my mind, like, okay, one day he'll get out and then that's like, you know, it finished story. But no, it's like he got out, but now it's like, oh shit, like it's still going. So it's pretty interesting.
Isn't that like double jeopardy? Double jeopardy? Like,
well, he's not going to be charged for the same murder, but they just think that the reason why he let out wasn't right, because they think it was like this like weird like political play by the mayor. So they're trying to combat the reason why he got let out.
Gotcha. Interesting. Yeah, I gotta look into that story more. I know about it. I guess sometimes like when things happen in Baltimore, you're just like, because I live here, so I'm just like, oh, it's a wild ass place. Low key, like things happen here all the time.
Trust me, everybody that's been on the podcast from Baltimore has not even known about like the podcast.
Dude, I've heard about it.
Yeah, they're just like, oh,
I've
what?
definitely heard about it.
Yeah,
I've heard about it because my wife likes stuff like that. But I've always just been like, I don't know. Baltimore just has. There's probably 1,000 of those stories, low key, that just haven't been told. Baltimore's a crazy place. Like and I say that in the best way. It's the craziest, most beautiful place ever. Like, I don't think there's anything like it ever. Like, literally 3 miles from me, there's like the biggest mansions ever. And then a block from there, it's just like heroin cells. Like it's Baltimore's just, they call it Charm City for a reason. You know what I mean? And then, but it's not, I think the thing about Baltimore that gets a bad rap is the drug use, or like maybe people being down and out, or like the abandoned homes. But there's like so much more beauty to it too. And I think for a while, that's all that was advertised. So it kind of gave people this weird sense of like what really goes down here. But then I'm pretty sure you meet people from bands or here, and you kind of like hear the music we put out, and you're like, all right, well, something's going on there because like it's creating all this shit, you know. Like regardless of like who I do or don't like in Baltimore, and you know, again, we all know each other, whether we like each other or not. It's like we're all putting out dope shit for the most part. You know what I mean? Like we're all putting out high quality, high caliber music. So I think it says a lot about just how this place is, you know, and how people like really, really want to get the fuck out. And sometimes that only can be through your music and art.
Now, earlier you mentioned Lord's Wrath. You know, you were featured, and you guys filmed the music video for Puke.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. I thought it was, you know,
shout out Jefferson.
The scene with his head getting shaved. I was like, oh wow, just for the video. That's dedication.
Yeah. He actually just keeps it shaved now too, because he's like, fuck having hair. It's so much cooler. So he hasn't let his hair grow back out since.
That's wild. But can you talk about like what that process was like filming that music video? Yeah,
sure. So we work with Jefferson, who low key has had his hand in the PlayStation Spider-Man games and Last of Us and a couple other things. So he met Jordan. I don't know how he met Jordan. I guess it's like in Hamden where they live. And then you know, Jordan asked me to be in that song before I knew him and before we even worked together. And then I kind of like told him fuck off at first.
Oh, wow.
Like I don't work with people. Yeah, and then he kind of just like presented it to me in a way that it was like a friendly fuck off, but it was like, dude, I don't know who you are. Like, and I was just also just like very weary of just dealing with people now. So he was kind of like rebutted and was like, well, if you change your mind, like here's the private playlist with the whole album, and this is where you would fit into it and all this stuff. And I listened to it one night when I came home with dinner with Audrey, and then I was like literally on the toilet, and I was like, damn, this is kind of hard. And then I like wrote to it right there, and then we recorded it like that week. That's the first time we kind of like even met when I recorded that song with him. And then we did another song the following week. We re-recorded Puke and did another song at his loft in Clipper Mill in Hamden, like 15 minutes from me. And we actually re-recorded Puke, and then we did that song Move that's on my album. And then from there, just started like this kind of like a relationship with him and I that we're like really good friends now. He's the first artist that I officially A&R'd for and got signed to a label. And I just believe in him so much. He's super talented. He kind of like reminds me of me in a little bit, but just like 10 years younger. And we're both kids who are like of color, who kind of like grew up in like these Christian background households, like in like, you know, all white neighborhoods, and listen to like doom metal and shit. So once I found out that about him, I kind of just was like, what the fuck? Like, why don't I know you? And then we just been homies ever since. And then we just put out Puke through Revolver, with Silent Pendulum Records a couple weeks ago. And then, he's about to drop his like album next month on SPR. I'm super proud of him. It's cool to now be in a position where like I can put talent on that I think is like worthwhile. I feel, you know, I've always had an eye for it, you know. Like I said, I remember when I found out about Soulblind, I was like, yo, these kids are going to do it, you know, and like look at them now, you know. So, I just always had an eye for like picking out shit, and just never knew that it was called something, you know. I've always heard about A&R and shit, but I didn't know what the fuck they did. And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, I've been doing this for like my whole life, low-key. So to be officially have that title now and working with a label, and hopefully to work with more labels and help with just more creative direction and whatever the fuck, like I'm down. I have an eye for lots of things. I have an eye for talent. If even with design and whatever, like if I can't do it, I know somebody else who can, you know. So I'm really trying to build this like rapport of just like just a whole new unit of like artists and like a whole new like vibe of like culture, you know, that's adjacent to metal, hip hop, punk, everything in between. Like I I'm trying to embody like it all though, and not just like one thing. Like I want to put everything into it, and like from skate to BMX to anime, whatever. I'm trying to really cultivate something special these next couple of years. I think, you know, you being a homie, you'll see it firsthand, and probably you are a part of it already, you know. But yeah, Lord's Wrath is like pretty much like something I'm very proud of. And like I said, Glim's up next. He's an artist that I believe in too as well. I'm looking for some bands, but you know, they got to have the sauce. So it's a little bit harder to find that, you know, right now. But, yeah, man, I'm on the hunt. So even if anybody's watching this or listening to this, like, you know, hit me up if you think, you know, you're someone or something that we can align with when it comes to like, not only like morally and like, sonically, but also like, I want to work with people who like want to change the trajectory of like punk and hardcore and like from what it is now to where it really should be. And I think that, with more like-minded individuals, we can get there a little bit faster than me trying to like hustle and bustle everybody and shake people up and make them realize that like, yo, we got to do things a bit differently out here to really like, reap the benefits of like what this scene and community is supposed to do for not only us in culture, but like the little kids that like really look up to this shit for what we did when we were like 13, 14. And that's like an escape. And I feel like sometimes that escapes being like a little bit hard to like get into. And I could be wrong. You know what I mean? I'm old now. I'm an old fart, you know, but I just, from what I see, especially around here, and like I have people coming up to me too and being like, yo, I played at blah, blah, blah tonight and the energy was weird. I see what you're talking about now. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So it's not just me, you know? And so I'm just trying to advocate for kids like that, dude. You know what I mean? And, we'll see what happens. But yeah, shout out Lord's Wrath. Definitely look out his album Lord that's out right now. And his album Born List is coming out in August. I really think it's going to like shake up the scene as far as like heavy music. Cause this kid's making some wild ass shit. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, how is this sounding like this, but also cohesive to the point where you want to listen to it all the way through, you know? So I'm excited for him. And Puke, yeah, like Puke was a great video. I mean, it just looks, even if you don't listen to the song, if you just put it on and like look at it, it just looks cinematic. You know what I mean? So I'm really proud of that. And again, I think that just goes to show like the type of quality of work that me and my crew of friends are trying to put out right now. Like, I feel like I haven't seen a music video like that clean in a minute, you know? So, I don't know. I just feel like we're onto something here.
Yeah, I'm just happy that he stayed persistent, right? Because he didn't let the initial no deter him. He sent that playlist.
Yeah, dude. Bro, I kind of like bodied him hard too. I was kind of like, fuck off, dude. Like, I don't do features. But I'm so glad that the universe put him into a path that I was going down. And I'm glad that I can literally like, I mean, he's a grown ass man, but he's a little bro to me, you know what I mean? Straight up. And like, I'm really I literally gave him all my resources. Everything I had, I gave it to him. Like with not even a year, dude. You know, I said, bro, I believe in you. Like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to want to do this shit, dude. Like, it's fucked up out here. Like, here, this is who I know. This is what happens. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. Like, hey, be careful with this. Like, I'm literally everything that I might have shouldn't have done or shouldn't have said. I'm like trying to get him to be like, look, dude, like this is how it is out here. Like, you got to move this way or that way if you want certain things. But if you don't and you want to risk it all, then just like let it loose, but also just be careful because like I know what you're aiming for, you know, and sometimes it's going to be a little bit longer to get to that if you don't kind of like play the game, you know, and to even be able to tell somebody that feels good because like nobody told me that. And maybe I would have not said certain things or did certain things back in the day or said whatever, but you know, like there's no like how-to book for this shit. So to be a mentor and kind of show somebody like the ropes based off of just my personal experience and my mistakes, it feels cool. So I'm really proud to like be in this position. And like I said, this is just a start. Like there's a list of people that I have my eye on right now that I hopefully can help in any way possible as much as they will let me. There's so many more people I want to help and like just guide in a way that can put them in a better position, you know?
And you had a couple other features on the record, and is it pronounced Sema Bashmakov?
Yeah. He's the homie, dude. I met him like years ago. He used to live in Texas, but I think he moved back to Ukraine. And we actually had that song on a tuck for a minute, and then I just added drums and guitar and vocals to it. He already had like the chorus, and he told me to put it on my album whenever I put it out. So that's what I did, you know. He's like a wildcat who I've never even personally met. We were supposed to meet, but then like all this shit happened with you know, his visas and stuff. So the least I could do was like follow through and actually put that on the album, you know. And then him and Lord's Rap were the only two features, you know. I did work with like P. Morris with a song, and Homie Spray and Tom Richmond mixed and mastered the whole thing. And like I said, I went to like 5 different studios. Brian from Dove recorded some of the drums. I did some of the other drums and guitar at Sheffield. So it was just literally a project that I felt like Kanye. I was just like, okay, I know I want this person to play guitar on this track, and I'll play guitar on this track, and I'll do vocals on this, but I want this person to play drums, and I want that. Like, it was just like one of those things where I just wanted to work with more people, because with U.O.G., it can be anything, you know, and, you know, sooner or later, it's going to be like, you'll see U.O.G. as a full band. Right now, it's just a 2-piece, but that's all we kind of need. But, you know, in the future, I'll probably just be doing vocals, and there'll probably be someone just on guitar. There'll probably be a drummer, and it might even be someone like doing electronics. Like, everyone tells me that I should just keep doing vocals and electronics if I do it that way. But I have a specific vision, and this is just like phase 2, phase 4 almost. But it's going to change how it's being presented probably years to come. But, right now, like, Lord's Rap is part of the band. Like, Glim is part of the band. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm treating this shit now like a more of a collective and a unit, and like anybody can be anything in it, you know, like a transformer. I don't want it to just be like one thing. I want us to all be a unit. And then when we get together, it's just like this big monumental thing. And I think in the future, you know, with working with Scott Waldman out in LA, with all the bands that he's helped, you know, get their feet into the scene and industry, that's a whole nother story. You know what I mean? I've been sending him in demos for like the past year, you know, and we picked like 5 that we think are going to hit, and we're only going to really start with 1. So that's a whole nother, endeavor that I'm about to enter, that I have no idea how it's going to go, but I'm excited to even have that backing, and just like support. And again, people just believing in my vision, man. I know what I'm doing isn't really orthodox, but I feel like it's relatable to anyone who's into music. So I'm glad I get to be the one to like push the boundaries a little bit.
Yeah, it's fun to watch too, because I know how difficult it can be to not, you know, follow the normal path that people take, you know, in this scene that we're a part of. And, you know, I've seen bands, you know, do it their own way and have great success. So that's what, you know, obviously, like what I hope for you is, you know, for you to have continued success with you, you know, just kind of carving your own path, you know, even if there are naysayers, but, you know, I just want you to know that there's also a lot of supporters out there, you know, including myself. So that's why, when I, you know, go look at your social media or even see you post and doing cool shit, it's like, cool. Like there's, you know, obviously, people out there who get what you're doing and want to see you succeed, you know, hopefully more than the haters out there. So
no, definitely. I think it comes with the territory, though. You know, like think about anyone that's successful. There's haters. You know, there's someone that has an opinion. But I think that's the beauty of art and music. Like, it's all subjective, really. You know what I mean? Like, you know, my homies are showing a body. Well, I won't say homies anymore, but, you know, I've known them since they were in high school. I was in a collective with them when I lived in New York. There was a point where like nobody had them in rotation, and look at them now, you know, like they've proven themselves to be a band that might not be as orthodox or even look the way you think a hardcore band would look or even sound, and like they're like in the thick of it now. And I know for a fact a lot of people don't like it because I've heard people be like, yeah, I went to see Lock Loose and like didn't realize it was a mix bill. You know what I mean? Like just trying to like box them out of even being a hardcore band. It's like, damn, bro, like open up your eyes a little bit more. Like Harlan's bass is sludgy as fuck. Like, okay, like Julian's banjo might not be like drop anything or whatever y'all might think that like a hardcore band would be, but you can't say the ethos aren't there. You can't say that energy's not there. And I think that's what like we got to get back to. We got to get back to like, it don't have to be the necessary visual that you think it should be. I think as long as like you're coming from a place of like what this shit actually stands for, which is like outsiders trying to find a spot to fit in, then it would be like fucking heaven really out here. And I think it's still like that, but it just seems very like uniform to me sometimes. So I'm here for like the weird shit. You know?
And I'm just curious about like, obviously you did talk a lot about, future stuff, but I'm just curious about, music wise, you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
You had like 2 albums in the tuck.
Yeah, I got shit in the tuck, bro. Like I'm not fucking around, dude. Like I got 2 eulogy albums in the tuck that I just need to like figure out how we want to present it and, record the vocals to it, and it's nothing like Daggers or Forever Hate. So,
but
yeah, dude, I've been working, man. I've been working. I got like 30 songs, bro. Like plus like I said, like this other hardcore band, these other bands I'm doing shit. Every day I'm at it, bro. I'm nerding out. Like I'm doing research. I'm studying. I'm an artist, dude. I do this shit full time. Like I'm really about this shit. Like I ain't ever stopping, and ain't nobody ever gonna stop me. And I'm at the point now where I know how to play drums, guitar, bass, and like I'm a full band anyway. So like, what better way to be an artist and just like be the full artist? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm excited to see where this shit goes. But yeah, man, I got so much in the tuck, dude. Like, and I don't even know when I'll put it out. That's the thing. I don't know. I just put out an album, like, you know what I mean? Like 2 weeks ago. But like, y'all chill on that. Dagger still slaps. Like you hit me up. I remember you hit me up randomly. Like, yo, Dagger's still kind of hard, bro. Yeah. I'm like, yes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I put out music that, again, I'll try to put out timeless music. I'm not trying to put out music for like the right now. So yeah, let's sit on Forever Hate for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, y'all consumers be greedy. That's 15 songs. That's 2 albums. That's 25 songs y'all can go play back and forth right now until I put out something else. And then go listen to the Drip album too. Because that shit still slaps. That's 3 pieces of work that you can listen to that I've done in the past like 3 years. That's all 3 are insane. Like go run that shit back and run it back and run it back. And then I'll let you know when I'm ready for the other shit. I feel like people haven't really, again, like you said, like people know what I do and take it seriously and respect me. But I feel like there's a lot of people who like just see me as eulogy or like rapping or like just stop calling me a rapper. Like I'm way more than that. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like there's so many people that's like, they haven't dug deep enough to know what I do, what I've been a part of, that they kind of just like slide me off. And it's like, bro, go listen to the albums. Like go listen to that shit. Like I put out, like, I feel like Drip can compete with any hardcore band. I feel like Eulogy can compete with any like weird experimental artist right now, or hardcore band or rapper. Like I don't think that what I'm doing is bad. And I'm not just saying that because it's like me. I really think it can stand next to anything. So I just want a fair opportunity and listen. But again, I feel like selfish to even say that because it's not like I'm not already recognized for it. You know what I mean? So I feel silly even saying that, but I feel like sometimes you gotta like let people know that, like, as Kendrick says, sometimes you gotta pop out and show them. It's like, that's what I'm trying to do at this point in my life. I feel like low key after all that stuff that I was telling you about earlier, I kind of like I didn't disappear, but I just removed myself from a lot. So right now I'm in the era of my life where you're gonna see me out. People are seeing me out way more. They're seeing that I'm in a hardcore band. I never even announced, or I never even said nothing about Dub. I just showed up to the show. And even at the show, people didn't know I was a singer until I got on stage. You know what I mean? So I kind of like it. Like, I think it's cool. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to fucking make music and express myself. And then now that I have the opportunity and the platform to do so, I'm just trying to figure out the proper way to do it in the most professional way, but also in the most way that I think is like true to my heart. Because again, this shit ain't about hype, clout, or fame ever. Never been. It's never going to be about hype, clout, or fame to the day I die. And even if I get more notoriety or whatever, I just want you and other people to know that's not what I'm aiming for. Yes, I think any artist would be lame and wouldn't be honest with themselves that they didn't say that they want to become maybe popular, or at least let their work become popular so that they could, get their name out there, because that's what we all strive for. But I think I know in my heart that I genuinely do this shit just out of the love, because my brain won't let me not do it. You know what I mean? Like I Drip was banned. Okay. U-O-G's a band, Dub's a band, like all the other shit I'm working with. It's like, sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, holy fuck, I'm doing all this. You know what I mean? But it doesn't feel like, it feels like it's so effortless, So I don't know, man. I hope that the next releases are accepted, but who knows? They might not be. But I think I will say that it's not going to be like as heavy or aggressive. I'll say that, So That's all I can say about at least next eulogy. It's not going to be as heavy or aggressive. It's going to be heavy and aggressive, because that's in me through and through. But I feel like I'm just kind of like matured emotionally, to express myself and how I feel a little bit more than just like saying some like angry slick shit, So I'm trying to really dig deep into that bag, into my writing process, to really convey something that's a bit more, I don't want to say easy listening, but just a bit more digestible to whoever. Like not necessarily cater to the hardcore kid. Cause like, that's the thing. I'm a hardcore kid at heart, dude. Like it's no stop. It's regardless if people want to accept it or not. Like that's what I breathe through and through, So we'll see, man. I'm excited to just write and see how people feel about the music that I'm putting out. You know what I mean? I think my favorite track on the album was like Smoke for last album, A lot of people said they like Smoke, which is one of my favorites to write, because I literally just wanted something that sounded like theme music for like a wrestler or something, Because I was also thinking about like placement, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, this sounds like a great song that like someone to like walk down the aisle to and just like slam somebody, because it just says they want to smoke. That's all I say the whole time. So, yeah, I just like thinking about like shit like that. Like, so for the next album, I don't even know if it's going to be a concept album this time. It might just be like a bunch of songs thrown together, and I might have like 2 guitar players and a bass player by that point. Who knows? I don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm just excited that I have like room to grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like that's very important, is having that room to grow, because I feel like things can get really bad if you, feel, like content, or if you feel like, you've done it all. But I always think it's nice to be able to have that, mindset of that. It's like, all right, cool. Like I've done so much, but there's still, more out there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. I mean, I think, like I said, I think, I don't know about you, but I think like music just in general is in a really cool place right now. Like I've seen like K-pop trap bands and shit now. I'm like, holy fuck, like this shit slap. Like that I was totally unaware of until someone like messaged me, and I'm like, damn, like, that just goes to show like the bubble I live in. Like I didn't even know these things were spinning right now. So like not just outside of hardcore, I know you're really big into K-pop, but just outside of hardcore, I just see that the way music is shaping. You got like country music, like sounds like trap music sometimes. You know what I mean? Just like there's like rap country artists now, and just like a lot of like hardcore bands have like big rap influences in it almost, that is like it's there but it isn't there, but like it's there. So I don't know, I'm just excited for music worldly, because it just seems like the rap culture just has a big hold on like everything right now, and it's definitely, you can definitely see it in like from style to like sonics, so we'll see, man. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited. I feel like we're back like into like the early 2000s when it comes to music almost,
Yeah, there's I feel like there's a shift happening in hardcore right now where the heavy stuff is kind of rotating out, and people are preferring the faster, more straightforward, or the current term people like to say regular hardcore.
Oh, really? That's it now? Regular?
That's what's that's what a lot of kids are saying these days, which I think is interesting. I just call it hardcore.
Yeah.
But yeah, there definitely is a big shift. Like one of my favorite rappers, cool. Big Sean, is about to drop, even though his record already leaked because of some drama.
I heard that. Yeah.
but yeah, I love music because it's ever changing, right? When you feel like, okay, shit's getting boring, that's where I feel like I am not doing my job of like digging hard enough, or I'm not talking to enough people about music, because there's always something new out there for me. I just have to go out and find it.
Nah, yeah, dude. And that's so funny, like Big Sean, because I feel like I like him too, but then sometimes I kind of like hermit back into liking him, because some people are like, fuck Big Sean. So I'm glad that you publicly said that, because I stand behind you on that, low key. I actually heard a Big Sean record last night. I don't know if it was new, but we were on the way to DC, but that shit sounded hard. It's probably new. So Big Sean was like always kind of dope, low key. I feel like he just had that weird shit with Kanye for a little bit. So he was kind of like, I guess, rebranding or something, whatever,
Well, I feel like you and him share a lot of similarities where, he's hated a lot, but he, has to, just stay in his lane, carve his own path, because he has like a whole set of dedicated, fans, and he's just done his own rap, right? And he's had to persevere a lot. But I think, it's easy to hate someone when like that's, like the public norm, right? It's like there's like this random big hate train for no reason, because, he's not out there promoting anything crazy. He's not, out there shooting, killing people, rapping about anything negative. He's just basically, like his, lyrical content is a lot of influences on his own life. So it's just very like inspirational stuff. That's why like I'm a huge fan of his, and I love his music.
Yeah, I like his music, and he has like a very unique voice. Excuse me. I can't describe his voice, but he has like this. It's not like cocky, but he's like it's like he has this like voice that he's very sure of himself, and I think I like that about him, because it's like his voice it's not deep, but it's like big. It's like a big voice. So I don't know. I've always liked Big Sean for sure. I'm excited. I didn't know he was putting out. I didn't even know there was a leak or that he was putting out new music, but I'm excited for that, because he's definitely been an artist I like. Like as far as like good music, or just as an artist, he's always someone that I like. Might not even always like his music, so to say, but just how he presented everything. Like, I don't fuck with you. I don't really think I like that song, but it was one of those songs that you just heard all the time that you were like, I do like this song, but I wish they would stop playing it all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like he's like one of those artists where he kind of just, he writes good songs, but he also can write those songs where he's just giving you like bars and telling you a story, and also like painting a picture about, like you said, like he's not really out here talking about killing people, or his lyrical content is a little bit different than your average rapper, and it seems a little bit more self-reflective than anything, So I've always appreciated that about him too, for sure.
100%. All right, last thing before we wrap up.
All right, let's go.
You showed me your retro game consoles over there earlier. I'm just curious, when you want to head down to the basement and want to unwind and play some retro video games, like what's your go-to?
Oh yeah, it's going to be Mortal Kombat Trilogy on Sega Saturn. It's going to be Crazy Taxi on PlayStation 2. For 360, I've been playing Street Fighter versus Tekken.
Okay.
And then for 64, it's normally something Mario, you know. But we have Switch now too, so I've kind of just like anything on old retro Nintendo's like Switch. So I kind of like do that. But yeah, man, my favorite though is like Sega Saturn Mortal Kombat Trilogy. It is still so smooth. And then I really like the PS2. Almost any game on PS2 is pretty fun. But I have Crazy Taxi, so that's kind of like pre GTA, like pre Simpsons, all that. Like I feel like Crazy Taxi kind of like, you know, I'm obsessed with Sega, so I just feel like that game did a lot for a lot of games now, and they're doing a remake, so that's going to be open world, which goes to show how kind of like influential it was to all these games that are out now. So yeah, those are my two favorite. Definitely Mortal Kombat Trilogy on Sega Saturn and PS2 Crazy Taxi, as silly as it sounds.
All right. Well, UOG, I appreciate your time today. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we sign off?
Hey, all love or hate. You can't have one without the other. Listen to Forever Hate. New music on the way. Shout out Silent Pendulum Record. Shout out Jamie. Shout out Lord's Wrath, Glim, Michael, Currency, Audrey. That's it.
All right. Well, truly appreciate your time today. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll be back soon. Goodbye.